Hi guys, this is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle. Welcome to another material about the Falling Sky, one of the counter-insurgency games from Folklorunke, and very interesting depiction of uprising the Rome, uprising versus Rome, of course, in the Gaul during the time when Julius Caesar was there. Regarding Falling Sky, I already created a lot of articles about this game, but you can also find a lot of videos. So there's a full a playlist of how to play Falling Sky and then analysis of all four factions, so Belga, Erdui, Rome, and Arveni. So if you'd like to jump to some of those materials, feel free. I think it will give you a lot of interesting insights regarding the strategies, events, weaknesses, and strengths of factions, as well as overview of the play. However, today we would look at completely different dimension of this game. The game comes with the three scenarios: 52 BC, the Great Revolt; 53 BC, this is Reconquest of Gaul; and 54 BC, Pax Gallica. Now I would like to touch upon each and every of them and show you some specifics. The idea is inspired by my colleague Brent, with whom I play a lot via Vassal and other tools, and he suggested that it might be really good also to have a look at particular scenarios and how do they differ, and when and for which, for example, number of players they are suitable for. So without further ado, let us start with the first scenario, the Great Revolt. Okay guys, so here is the Great Revolt scenario. I will be using the screenshots from the Vassal. I can easily point with the pointers to the areas of interest. So hopefully this will be exactly what should work for you. Historically, we are in 52 BC in the spring, and this is the shortest of all the scenarios. This is exactly the time when the uprising of Celts versus Caesar started. So we have rebel king Ambroix here of the Belgae. He was crushed last year by Caesar, and he is, as you can see, escaped to the cousins in Germany. We have already the Vercingetorix here in Carnot, and he actually managed to rally a lot of his troops. In the center, we have Edui, who are the Rome allies, and of course we have Rome, a lot of forces, and Caesar in Provincia, but also very strong force in Mandubi, a lot of legions, also some auxilia and ally. We add to this also the troops in Belga and Treveri, so pretty substantial number of forces. I told you that this is a pretty short game. The suggestion is to play with 3 winters, or even, if you'd like to, 2 winters. 2 winters, that means like 30 events only, so pretty short game. 3 winters is 45. What I would like to draw your attention to is this is a really good and suitable scenario for 3 players. As you can see, Belgae are pretty devastated. It's not much fun playing them, although I saw a lot of people who were able simply to recover. Belgae, they have only 5 victory points, and as you know, they need 16 to win. They have some resources like 10, so it's not so bad, but still their position on the map is horrific. The suggestion is that if you still play 4 players, you should flip the successor of Ambroix to Ambroix, so it will be slightly easier for the player. If you play with the 3 players, of course, the Belgae can be played as a non-player, but potentially they can also be managed by Arveni. So in this case, when one player manages both Arveni and Belgae, the lowest victory margin of those 2 is counted for him. So this is something important to note. What else do we see here? From the victory perspective, yeah, the Belgae are the farthest. Edu are also far away. They have only 3 allies or citadels, and if you look at Arveni, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they are 7 allies behind the Arveni, the Edu. Regarding Rome, they are moderately okay. You can see 12 subdued or dispersed tribes, which is on the verge between intrigue and adulation. It's still 4 points to victory, but it seems possible. Arveni usually have the toughest time with victory points. Of course, they have largest number of allies, but they have only 2 legions of map. They are here. Most of other legions are on the map. So a very, let's say, brutal and a very deadly battles, pretty right from the start. The only way for the Arvane to win is to get rid of those legions. They can also play some events like Optimates to speed it up, but all in all, they need to strike, and they need to strike hard. Okay, is it a good scenario for the beginners? Not necessarily. There is too much already at stake from the first moves of the game. You really need to play it well. All the forces are here. You need to plan your moves, plan attacks. You know, you cannot move and attack unless you have some specific events in this game. So really need to plan it. Did I play this scenario a lot? I think so, mainly due to the length of this. This is pretty quick, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to play within 2 hours, even if you have experienced players. Okay, that will be all about scenario 52 BC. Let us jump to the second scenario. Second scenario, Reconquest of Gaul. It's 1 year earlier. It's 53 BC, midwinter. What we can tell about this scenario? This is called as main scenario, and this scenario starts with a Belgae having really close, being really close to victory, and they will be spranging the trap on the Caesar's legions. As you can see, Belgae has already 15 points. Due to the control and due to all of those allies built. This is a really interesting situation, especially here where you have Ambroix. Remember that if he's here, each of those warbands inflicts 1 hit, and with him it's like 5 hits divided by 2, of course by 4, but still it can decimate those forces, and those forces. So those guys are in position to do a lot of harm to Romans. What else? For Romans, they are very strong in subdued tribes. You see, they are at 14 in adulation, close to victory. That's mainly because the Arveni are not so much developed. Yeah, you can see Arveni are still not rallied. A lot of empty spaces in the west of the map, also here in the east. So that's potentially some area where the Arveni can develop. The game usually orbits around Belgae because Caesar has to do something about this, and this is exactly what historically happened. You remember I was showing you 52 BC. On 52 BC scenario, you have everywhere here green troops, and you have completely crushed and demolished Belgae. And as a Roman player, you would have tough choices what to do to prevent this huge advantage in points from being, used. Also note that as many as 4 legions are out of the map, so it would really help to get to adulation and to get those 4 legions on the map. By the way, for the length of the game, it's either 4 winters, which means 60 events, or you can play the shorter version with 3 winters and 45 events. All 4 players have equal chances for victory, I would say, because even Edu can, spread and start taking over those areas here. 4 players really in good position to take the win. I have a feeling that playing Rome in this particular scenario is pretty difficult, so I would suggest really getting the experienced player for this. Any additional points which I would like to make from the resources perspective? Everybody is pretty okay. As you shall see in the next scenario, it will not be the case. It will not be the point. Yep, and this should be probably the starting point for learning this game. Some people prefer even 54 BC because this is even less with confrontation than this one. Definitely, this could be a good starting point. Okay. That's all for the reconquest of Gaul, 53 BC, midwinter. Now we'll jump to the last, third scenario of a falling sky. Okay, this is Pax Gallica, 54 BC, late summer. The map is empty. Yeah, really, truly empty. As you can see, the Gaul is simply pacified, totally pacified. The Rome is at 20 points. So truly, this is crushed. What else can we say? Caesar is in Britannia. He is on one of his trips to Britannia, crushing the opponents and gaining the glory. He actually was also in Germany, not far away. The first turn of this game is very specific. As you can see, everybody has only 5 resources, so few, not too many. The scenario itself is very long. It's 70 events out of 72, and it lasts, if I remember correctly, like 5 winters. But the first winter is pretty quickly. Usually, you have the first winter between the 11th and 15th card. Here, it will be in the second pile when you prepare the deck, so between the 6th and 10th. It's because this first season is very specific. First of all, there will be no victory phase. I see that vassal setup is not fully correct. This winter should be here on quarters. In the first winter there is no victory phase and there is no German phase. So those 2 things are skipped. At the start of the harvest phase, we should have 3 legions here. 3 legions from the winter track will be moved somewhere to Belgica. So this will happen. At the start of the Senate phase, we'll not be putting the Senate anywhere here, moving it, but we'll simply put it on the intrigue. It is here now, so we'll put it on intrigue. Just simple like this. And from the spring of the next year, you would be able to place Vercingetorix anywhere on the map with his troops. Yeah, to any region. He's not on the map. By the way, Arveni have only like 5 warbands and only 2 allies. So this is not too much. This is pretty open scenario, and this scenario can most vary from what historically happened, because you can go any direction. When I played this recently, I managed to grab with Edui those terrains, only to lose them later to pretty decent play by Arveni. Caesar was running over here. The west part was fully occupied by Arveni. The Belgae was also keeping pretty tightly here and in Germany, which was interesting and really impacting the game. What is my recommendation regarding this scenario? Is it good for the first-time players? To be quite honest, I think so. It's good to learn the mechanics. Probably it's not possible to play the whole game, 5 winters, 70 events on your first try, but it's really good just to learn, okay, how do I rally, how do I move, how do I raid, how do I battle. This is a really good scenario for that, for the beginners. From a victory perspective, you cannot predict who will win. It can go into so many directions, and remember, there is no victory phase in the first winter, but really it's hard to say. So if you'd like to just try the game without too much complexity, I think it should be a good scenario to try. Although 53 BC, while slightly more complex, probably will be also more interesting to you guys. And that will be all about the scenarios. I hope that you like this presentation. Falling Sky is definitely my favorite coin game. I play it pretty often, at least once a quarter. One game, very good for reply by email or simply by via Vassal and exchanging the files. The scenarios which I showed you shows different dynamics which happened in the goal during the last years of Caesar being there. So the eruption of the Great Revolt in 52 BC, already the Belgae trap in 53 BC, and let's say the peaceful times of 54 BC, but those peaceful times were gradually changing into more dramatic and conflicting situation. This will be probably my last video in how to play Falling Sky, with additional 4 videos, so general how to play and 4 faction overviews. This should give you a really good insight into this game, which I truly hope is a fantastic piece of development and design by Volker Runke. So really great stuff. That's all for today. If you'd like to see more content like this, kindly please subscribe. If you liked this video, I would encourage you to also give a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to comment, remark, put some additional information, please use the section below this video. Thank you for today, and bye.